Ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, all my dear students. So, after discussing the Government of India Act 1935, let's discuss the Independence Act 1947. The Independence Act 1947 was promulgated in order to give effect to the Lord Mountbatten's plan and in order to fulfill the promise of British government to divide India into two separate entities, two different countries. So this act was promulgated on 15th August 1947, and as a result of that, two independent states, namely Pakistan and India, they formed. As soon as this Independence Act 1947 came into force, the sovereignty and the power of the British government over the land of India and Pakistan that ceased to have any effect. Similarly, all those treaties which were signed by the British government with the third countries or with the tribal areas or with the international entities, they also lapsed automatically. There were few salient features of this the Independence Act 1947. I'm going to discuss them one by one. Number one of them is that this act provided for the appointment of the Governor General, two different Governor Generals for each entity, for each country. I mean to say one Governor General for Pakistan and one for India, who would be uh, uh, appointed by the Crown subject to the law of the legislature of either of the new dominions. Similarly, it provided that the same person could be Governor General of both the new dominions. Secondly, it provided for the legislature of the two dominions were made fully sovereign and were given powers to make laws. Two constituent assemblies were established, and the main task for them to make constitution for the newly established constituted states, namely Pakistan and India. As far as the running of affairs of the states is concerned, as this was not possible to make a constitution uh, in days or in hours after the constitution of two countries, so it was provided by this act that these constituent assemblies, they will work on the composition of constitution for themselves, and as long as they are in this process of making a constitution, the provisions of the Government of India Act 1935 shall apply on them. And the Governor General, he was entrusted with powers to make all those necessary amendments, modifications, alterations, deletions, additions to the Government of India Act as they deem fit for the smooth functioning and running of their state, either it is Pakistan or India. A specific time period was provided for these Governor Generals, which was 1 year. So they were authorized to make all these addition deletions up to 31st March 1948. But this time period was extended for further 1 year, and it was extended till 31st March 1949. After that time, this authority, this power would rest to the constituent assemblies if they want to if they want to make any addition, deletion, alteration into the Government of India Act, then the Constituent Assembly would be a competent forum in this regard. The office of the Secretary of State for India was abolished, and the provisions of Government of India Act relating to appointment of civil servants by the Crown by the Governor General of India were also abolished. However, the appointments made till 15th August 1947 by the Crown, by the Secretary of State or by the Governor General of India, they were safeguarded, including the appointments of judges to the High Courts and to the Federal Court of India. Number 5, the Indian armed forces were divided into two dominions, into Pakistan and India, but the British forces in India, including His Majesty's Air Force and Naval Force, they were not made part of the Indian forces, which was divided into these two dominions. So these forces left back to the Britain, and the local forces, they were divided into two dominions. The existing instrument of instructions issued by the Crown to the existing Governor General, who was existent prior to 15th August 1947, that was abrogated, and that ceased to have any effect after 15th of August 1947. As the both named states, they were set free, and they were allowed to make their own arrangements in terms of governance and construction of constitution and institutions and raising military. So these instruments of instructions, they were lapsed and they were abrogated. The laws of British India and of the several parts thereof existing immediately, all those laws which were made by the Britain in British India, including the CPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, and all other laws, they were this was left to the constituent assemblies and the Governor General to make all those necessary alterations, amendments, addition, deletion to them as per their own needs, and or they were also they were also at liberty to bring their own laws at their places, but as long as they are not able to make any necessary arrangements in this regard, this was provided that the existing laws passed by the British India's Parliament, they would prevail and they would be applicable as they were before. The province of Bengal, as constituted under the Government of India Act 1935, that was divided into two provinces, East Bengal and West Bengal, and the Boundary Commission was authorized to demark their territories and their territorial jurisdictions accordingly. Similarly, the province of Punjab, as was constituted under the Government of India Act 1935, that was also abolished. Instead, it was divided into West Punjab and East Punjab, and the boundaries of the two new provinces were to be decided by the Boundary Commission established in this regard. And as long as this Boundary Commission is in process of this settlement of boundary and territorial limitations, this was provided that the districts nominated in second schedule of the Constitution, the Act of 1935, they would go with the West Punjab, and the remaining districts, they would go with the East Punjab. So these were the some of the salient features of the Independence Act 1947, which was intended to legalize and formalize the promise made by the British government to establish two independent states. As you know, a long battle and a story of long and extensive sacrifices was involved in this, and the Muslims of Pakistan and India and the people of the subcontinent, they sacrificed a lot in this, and yes, that's it for this today. Thank you very much.